When big protests break out in Portland, there's often a lot of interaction with police, and then complaints from some about how they were treated. But even small encounters can trigger a complaint, and they all go to the same place, the Independent Police Review. It's part of the Portland City Auditor's Office. Ross Caldwell is the director.
Portland has about 300 protest events a year, and a lot of those are very small. These are obviously on the very big end of the spectrum, but that does generate a lot of public interest, a lot of interaction between law enforcement and people in the community.
Lots of people use the city system. The IPR reviews hundreds of complaints a year from citizens and more from other police officers. For the 5 years covering 2014 through 2019, the IPR found misconduct in a total of 200 different cases. Candace Avalos is the chair of the volunteer group of citizens who review complaints.
I think that the community definitely values the work we do, and we have certain community members that tend to engage with our work a lot. And we had a retreat like a couple years ago, and they specifically mentioned like this work is important. Even though it's difficult, we don't always get what we want to get done. People appreciate knowing that we're there.
Here's a deeper look into what happened last year. Citizens filed 408 complaints against officers. 155 were quickly dismissed because they had no merit, but 92 were thoroughly investigated. Another 76 got a precinct referral, meaning it did not involve misconduct, but the precinct commander is notified and can follow up with the person who complained. And 75 got supervisory investigation, which means the officer is not disciplined, but the precinct commander is notified they need more coaching, and the community member definitely wants to talk to the boss. On top of that, other officers filed complaints against their fellow cops 69 times. 50 were investigated. The most serious cases, 32 of them last year, were sent to the chief for discipline. Of those, 13 got command counseling, 9 got a letter of reprimand, 6 got 1 or 2 days suspensions without pay, 3 were suspended for more than a week without pay, and 5 resigned or retired before the final disciplinary ruling. In each of those cases, the officer's name was protected. The IPR hopes to change that and increase accountability. By the way, they also have a new spot on their website where they're asking for your input and your experiences down at the protests. In Southwest Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.